Hello Internet, for your viewing pleasure I'm going to rank all of the Wrestlemanias. This might take a bit of time, but please bear with me, the payoff will be there. Without further ado, let's start with WrestleMania 9. This sucked. This was a completely unnoteworthy WrestleMania. Nothing happened. All the matches were like fucking draws and disqualifications. The outside kind of arena didn't quite work out. The main event was pretty rubbish. Fucking Hulk Hogan getting his little last swan song in the sun, that was kind of shit. Just an overall not cool one. Undertaker, Giant Gonzalez, ouch. Just, yeah, pretty shit. Next, I would love to put this bottom of the list, but there is one good match in it, and it saves from it. But I hate this WrestleMania with a passion. I hate this more than every other fucking WrestleMania ever. It's WrestleMania 27. This was shit. Quite ironically, actually, this was the match that kind of got me back into wrestling. I was watching wrestling as a kid, stopped watching it until, I'd watch the old WrestleMania here and there. I watched WrestleMania 27, and I was so appalled how boring, uneventful, fucking shit this was. I was like determined to like watch some of the old wrestling videos, and I whipped out my old fucking stuff and I got hooked again on wrestling. So ironically it got me back into wrestling, but everything about this fucking thing I hate. I really could do like a really in-depth review of this wrestling thing, and I probably will, but let me just say, the Rock segment sucked, the tag team match, the entrances were longer than the fucking thing, Jerry the King Lawler, Michael Cole, holy shit, that was like watching fucking the Holocaust. Sorry, that was pretty distasteful considering the events coming in the world right now. The fucking main event was shit. John Cena, sorry mate, you're kind of crap. The Miz, what the fuck is he doing in a main event WrestleMania? The whole WrestleMania was in build up for 28. You could even say that with the Triple H Undertaker match. That match was a throwaway for the one the year after. There was just nothing for me. It was just long, boring. The segments were low. It was just like horrible. If I was a fan, I would have been so disappointed to have been at that WrestleMania. It was shit, and like I said, watch out. I'll probably make a proper review of this thing and really get into depth why I hate it so much. But yeah, fucking should be bottom, but no, it did have a good Undertaker match. So yeah, 9 is the bottom. This was shit. Next, WrestleMania 11. This was not actually as bad as everybody says it is, but just nothing happens. And obviously the biggest flaw of it is the fucking main event. Like, I'm from England, so I don't watch American football. I've got no idea who this Lawrence Taylor dude is. I fucking don't know who he is. So when he's in the main event against Bam Bam Bigelow, who's not exactly the biggest draw, I'm just thinking, what the fuck is this? It is the worst WrestleMania main event. Well, the Miz Cena one was, but at least they're fucking wrestlers and potentially main event stars. But WrestleMania 11, just really horrible. Shawn Michaels Diesel was okay. It should have main evented. If that main evented, then it would probably be higher up on the list. But no, WrestleMania 11, not very nice. Next, we got WrestleMania 4. I watched this quite recently. I've got to say, when I was a kid, I really enjoyed this WrestleMania. I love like tournaments for titles. Survivor Series 98 is one of my favourite pay-per-views of all time. There's so many like possibilities. You can do so many, like, because obviously you're not going to be able to have all these matches, so you've got to come up with some screw jobs, blah blah blah, here and there. But at WrestleMania 4, they just really booked it horribly. Like, I couldn't. It's the kind of thing I wouldn't have noticed as a kid or as a casual fan, but now as a bit of a smark or whatever, and I can understand booking. This is rubbish. Like, why the fuck was like Steamboat eliminated early? Why was Andre and Hulk like a mid-card match disqualification? Why did like heels went over a lot in this night when they really shouldn't have? And like DiBiase, the one-man gang, that just did not work. I do like it because it's the culmination for Randy Savage getting like all these matches and he finally wins the belt. That's a cool moment, but it's just long. It's really long. It's just awfully booked. I've just got to say that really, really harms what could have been, in my opinion, quite an entertaining WrestleMania. Next, we got 5. Like, everyone always says the old ones are better, the best WrestleManias, and actually, some of them are not that good. 5 being one of them. Just tons of matches, really short. I like having quite a lot of matches at WrestleMania. I always appreciate like young stars getting their first WrestleMania appearances, and we did have like Mr. Perfect and Owen Hart and Shawn Michaels first WrestleMania. That's really cool. Lots of matches, but it's just they were all blah and unnoteworthy. Quite a lot like WrestleMania 4, and really just like WrestleMania 4, you might as well just fucking not bother watching the entire thing until the main event, which was actually quite entertaining. And yeah, it was a bit of like Hulkamania getting its probably the last time Hulk won the belt at WrestleMania. That kind of worked, so it was a bit uneventful. I didn't really like WrestleMania 5, I've got to say. Next, WrestleMania 2. Everyone like shits on this WrestleMania, but I actually kind of like it. Like, it is low down the list because it's 2 hours long, nothing really happens. It is extremely blah, but I don't think it's that bad. Like, I liked the main event, like King Kong Bunny, Hulk Hogan in the cage match. I thought it was actually quite entertaining for its time. He had a fucking blade job, like King Kong Bunny cut himself. I mean, that was like unheard of, at least to my knowledge, in the 80s, and I kind of liked it. I liked the idea of 3 different venues. It would never work now, but it was kind of cool back in the time. It was quite innovative. I think it was a cool idea. Mr. T, Rowdy Roddy Piper in a boxing match, that was kind of cool. The Battle Royale was quite cool. You got to see the Hart Foundation in like a really early WrestleMania, and Andre the Giant winning it. I kind of liked it. Obviously, it's not very good, but no way is it the train wreck everyone says WrestleMania 2 is, so I kind of like it. Next, we got WrestleMania 15. This is really hard for me to put in here because as a kid, I absolutely loved this WrestleMania. Like, I love the music. If you didn't know what the music was, you'd just be like, what the fuck was I just doing there? But it had cool music. Like, it was like my second WrestleMania that I watched. I watched 16 first, and then I bought WrestleMania 15. Really liked it. But watching it back, it is bad. There is like shit all going on the entire fucking card up until the main event, and there are so many like weird like DQs and screwovers. Like the fucking Mick Foley Big Show could have been a great match, just ended off like 2 minutes, in a disqualification. Kane Triple H, that would have been a great match for like Triple H to make something himself. Fucking ends. Then they basically kill like 3 matches just breaking up DX, which was way too soon, and killed a golden fucking goose for Vince McMahon, and building up to the main event. And the whole card was just built for like storyline purposes and not actually any matches. And the Hell in the Cell match was shit as well. And I actually kind of liked the brawl fall. Actually, I thought it was kind of funny watching like Bart Gunn get knocked the fuck out. Like, it is real. It is really brutal. You have to watch it. The main event is absolutely fantastic. There's no doubt about it. Really, really awesome. 98, in my opinion, was like the best fucking ever year. And in a way, 15 was a horrendous disappointment for it. But I'll give Stone Cold Rock. That was a nice culmination of the year. And I've got to say, that is why 15 is so low down the list here, is because 98 was fucking epic. How the fuck did they screw WrestleMania up so badly? And WrestleMania 15, not very good, I have to say, unfortunately. Next, WrestleMania 6, it's alright. Again, some of these older WrestleManias are kind of a bit boring. Nothing really happens until the main event. Don't shit all over me, like WrestleMania 3 is very high up on this list. I do like some of the old WrestleManias, but 6, 5, 4, they're not really that good, I've got to say. And apart from the main event here, the Ultimate Warrior and Hulk Hogan, which was actually a very cool match, this was not a very memorable WrestleMania, I have to admit. Next, WrestleMania 21. I know a lot of people really like WrestleMania 21, and I admit the undercard is actually quite strong. Hulk Hogan, that Muhammad Davari, I think that's his name, fucking awesome scene. Love that, like kind of the evil Arab guy, and like Hulk Hogan coming back. Brilliant, loved it. Eddie Guerrero Ray, that was quite a cool match. Shawn Michaels, Kurt Angle, bloody good stuff. It was a very good WrestleMania, although they had some big... The Money in the Bank was fucking good as well, shit. Maybe this could be a bit higher, but I hate fucking so much the 2 main events. They were horrible. John Cena versus JBL. There's so much wrong with this match. For a start, it was like a year too soon for Cena. Like, it was just completely unbelievable that he'd win it. Second was, JBL has the title for like 9 months, and all it takes is a fucking FU to beat him, and then he loses the belt. I mean, what the fuck was that? It was just the most unrealistic thing. JBL had been through hell, and then Cena fucking wins it. I mean, I guess I don't like Cena, I've got to say. But this just was shit, and the main event, it was kind of crap. I have no problems with Batista winning the belt, but it was very boring. I think after as well, you watch 17, 18 and 19 all in like massive 80,000 seaters. When you get to 21 in that place in LA, it's quite underwhelming, and I think that kind of harms it. And I know a lot of people will bitch about me putting this low, but I gotta say, I just didn't really like WrestleMania 21 that much, gotta say. Next, WrestleMania 25. Again, another WrestleMania that really was quite underwhelming. Could have really done a lot, but just kind of fucked up. I like the Steamboat Jericho match. That's pretty cool. That was kind of fun. Hardy Boys match could have been way better, but I actually liked that Matt Hardy got the win. The ending was really cool. Obviously, the match, probably one of the best matches of all time, Undertaker versus Shawn Michaels, fucking epic. But the rest of the card just kind of sucked. I hated the main event. Like, I'm a big Triple H fan. When he won, like, with the pedigree, I was like, what? Is that it? Like, he's won. Well, yay. Like, it just made fucking no sense, and he retained. Like, 24 I really like, but they did the same mistake 2 years in a row, which was have the champion retain and then the kind of main challenger guy win it a month later at Backlash. Like, I thought that was ridiculous about this pay-per-view. They should have given Randy Orton his moment in the sun. Like, even though I don't like Randy Orton, he should have won a main event at WrestleMania against Triple H. He ended up winning it a month later. It was just stupid. Yeah, I can't admit, the Money in the Bank sucked as well for some reason. There were lots of botches in it. I remember that. So really, yeah, I gotta say, apart from the Undertaker match, this was actually a pretty poor WrestleMania, I have to say, in my opinion. Next, 18. I like 18. It is okay, but coming off the back of 17, you produce this. Sorry, it's just not good enough. Like, Rock Hogan was awesome. Wasn't actually that good a match, but obviously you're going to remember it. The atmosphere was amazing. Flair Undertaker was kind of cool. The main event, could have been better. It just wasn't. I just don't really remember this main event. I didn't like the hardcore thing they had throughout the whole show. You know, there was all these title changes. I thought that was stupid. They should have had like a longer, like Maven. There was a Maven match at WrestleMania. That's kind of sums up how this wasn't actually the greatest ever WrestleMania, unfortunately. I know some people like it, not me. Next, WrestleMania 7. I like WrestleMania 7. It's, again, kind of, apart from the really cool, Ultimate Warrior versus Savage match, this was not that amazing. Were some cool things. I liked the main event, even though this whole Hulkamania thing was growing fucking old very quickly by this time. It's an alright pay-per-view. I haven't really got much to say about it. You know, just pretty damn average. There isn't anything wrong with it. There isn't particularly much right with it. So yeah, it's kind of very averagely good. Next, WrestleMania 13. A lot of people really hate this WrestleMania. I don't really understand why. Like, you have an amazing main event, one of the best matches of all time, Stone Cold Steve Austin versus Bret Hart. Really bloody. You got the gang Chicago street fight. I loved that. That was amazingly hardcore for its time. That was pretty cool. I quite liked. I thought the main event was alright. I don't think it was that bad. Psycho Sid versus Undertaker. It was nice. Undertaker wearing his cool old costume, you know, getting the win, his main eventing his first WrestleMania. Yeah, it was alright. I mean, it's not great, but it's not as shit as everyone says it is. And again, you got one of the fucking greatest matches of all time, if not the greatest match of all time. So WrestleMania 13, I like it. It's good shit. Next, we got WrestleMania 23. Yeah, I actually thought this is a pretty damn solid pay-per-view. I think now we're getting to the WrestleManias that are good. I think we've just gotten past the ones that I have a problem with. WrestleMania 23, I thought it was actually a really solid card. Like, I love the Money in the Bank match. She had like fucking 10 or 12 wrestlers in it. Crazy shit. Loads of cool spots. Kind of random. Mr. Kennedy won it, but considering nothing ever happened to him. But great match. I liked MVP Benoit. I thought it was really cool. I was a big MVP fan. I think he's fucking kick-ass. That was good shit. You had Batista, Undertaker. That was a fucking good match. Like, I'm not a fan of Batista. He's not the kind of guy who's in great matches, but that was good, and I like genuinely thought Undertaker was going to lose his streak. I think this is probably the first time where his streak really meant something, and you know, fans were like, oh my god, like fans for the first time realized, shit, Undertaker actually has a streak that he might lose. Fuck. And I thought that was great. I like that the hair versus hair match. I think, yeah, Vince McMahon, stupid Donald Trump, who I hate. He's such a cunt, that guy. That was a really fun stuff. Quite liked it. John Cena, HBK. It was a great match. I hate Cena for fucking winning this match. Like, I don't understand why they couldn't have just given HBK this one fucking match. everyone says HBK is like an egomaniac and an asshole. I don't know. Once upon a time he was, but in the 8 years that when he came back to the WWF in the 2000s, apart from when he won the belt within like 2 months at Survivor Series 2002, losing it a month later, he didn't have a single World Championship reign in 8 years, which is bizarre considering just how great a wrestler he is. And I just don't get why like they couldn't have had fucking HBK win that match. I think if he had won that match, I think a lot of more people would like this WrestleMania. It was a good match, and yeah, again, it was a pretty damn entertaining WrestleMania. I have to say, yeah, good shit, liked it. Next, 26, actually quite a good WrestleMania. Like when you think of 26, you're like, 26, what happened there? But actually, it's a very solid card throughout the entire thing. I don't think there's alright, well, the Bret Hart McMahon match is pretty shit, but it served a purpose, and in my opinion, wasn't that bad. It was nowhere near the train wreck of fucking Jerry the King Lawler versus the King. So yeah, I kind of liked it. I thought the opening was really cool. I love the stadium. It was like a massive stadium. Looked amazing. Like I love it when freaking R-Truth comes out rapping. That's fucking cool. The ladder match was excellent. The Money in the Bank was the last ever Money in the Bank ladder match, unfortunately. I really want them to take it back to WrestleMania because it really worked for me. Jack Swagger actually kind of worked when he won it. I liked both title matches. I thought they were pretty good. John Cena Batista doesn't scream good match to you, but actually it was pretty entertaining. Edge Jericho, that was great fun. Really glad Jericho won this match. Had some cool spots in it. And the main event was pretty damn epic as well. Undertaker HBK, probably not as good as the one the year before, but perhaps a bit more like emotion involved. So I actually think it's quite underrated, WrestleMania 26. Next up, we got WrestleMania 20. This was probably not the greatest ever WrestleMania, admittedly. Like the mid card was a bit shit. I liked the Rock and Sock Connection versus Evolution. That was really cool. Kane Undertaker was a bit of a letdown. Eddie Guerrero Angle was quite good stuff, but really it wasn't particularly good pay-per-view up until the main event. And I have to say, this is probably perhaps my favourite WrestleMania main event of all time. Like I said earlier on in the video, like I stopped watching wrestling from like 2002 till like 2011, catching the odd WrestleMania, so I never watched this WrestleMania live. The first time I watched it was earlier on this year, last Christmas, and fucking hell, like when I saw, you know, Benoit celebrating with Eddie Guerrero and his like wife and shit, like it is an incredibly emotional moment. I will say, like, history has kind of made this main event more significant, but it was a great match. It really was a great match, and I really like Chris Benoit as a wrestler. Obviously he's a prick for what he did, but like it is so emotional, like the ending, like regardless of what happened in the future, but just seeing those two best friends celebrating, knowing that they'd be dead within like 5 or 6 years is a very strange thing, and very memorable main event for me. And it was a decent WrestleMania, but the main event really made it good shit. I like it a lot. Next, WrestleMania 12. I don't think this WrestleMania is that good. I know a lot of people really love it. They think the main event's like the best match of all time. It wasn't. Come on, like it was a great match. Like I love the entry when Shawn Michaels comes down on the hang glider. They should have got Owen Hart's guy should have done that. A bit off color joke, but yeah, like that was amazing. It was so cool watching HBK coming down when he wins the belt. It's an incredibly emotional experience. In my opinion, epitomizes what winning the WWF belt should be all about, and kind of shows just how shit winning that belt is now. It means fucking nothing when people win the belt. If you want to see what it's like winning the belt, look at HBK when he finally does it. It's a very emotional scene, but I gotta say, like, the match does drag on a little bit. Like, come on. I know a lot of people find it really cool, the idea that it's like a 60-minute match without a single pinfall. That is a cool thing, but at the same time, I would have rather have had quite a few pinfalls here and there. So I think the match is a tiny bit overrated, I have to say. And I like the best Iron Man match in my opinion, which is really underrated, was Rock Triple H Judgment Day 2000. That was way better in my opinion. It was just far more exciting, and I kind of think an hour-long match might be to some people's taste. Didn't really do it for me, but it's still very good. It's a 5-star match, but it's not like the best match of all time. That's all I'll say. And the rest of WrestleMania 12 was actually kind of cool. Yeah, Diesel Undertaker was quite entertaining. I love the Hollywood Brawl with Roddy Piper and Goldust. That's like really good fun. Goldust was so risque back then. Like, holy shit! Like, he would like rub people's crotches and shit. Great stuff. Absolutely love Goldust. Yeah, WrestleMania 12, it was quite good fun. Liked it. Next, 16. A lot of people hate 16. Like, I have to say, 16 was the WrestleMania, or the match, the night that got me into wrestling. I can't remember whether I watched it live or it was like a repeat like a few days later, but I watched the WrestleMania 16 main event, and this is when I thought wrestling was real. I was like 13 at the time or something. I was like, oh my god, like what the fuck is wrong with this family? Like, how dysfunctional are they? Like, I thought it was like epic. So I've got to say, like, yeah, this WrestleMania is a lot higher up on the list because me personally, it's quite sentimental, has a part to play in my life. But I think it's good. Like, I like the main event. I like that it was a fatal 4-way. Like, I like that Mick Foley got to be in a WrestleMania main event. Like, think of all the shitty wrestlers who've been in WrestleMania main events, like the Miz or Bam Bam Bigelow or Lawrence Taylor, or Psycho Sid twice. You know, there've been some like really undeserved wrestlers in the main events, in my opinion. So if it being a fatal 4-way and not getting Triple H The Rock versus 1-on-1 is sacrificed for Mick Foley getting a WrestleMania main event, then I'm happy for that. And I thought the main event was quite entertaining. It definitely could have been better. I will admit that it could have been epic if it was Triple H versus The Rock, because that was the ultimate rivalry in my opinion, like as a kid growing up. But yeah, it was good. And like, okay, I admit, like the tag team matches throughout the WrestleMania kind of shit. There's some really meaningless, pointless matches. Like, oh my god, Steve Blackman and Al Snow, that head cheese thing. What the hell was that? That was horrific. I have to admit, not a very good mid card, but the main reason, in my opinion, why this WrestleMania is so hard is the ladder match. This was just beautiful. This is art. Like, you got the 3 ladder matches between the Dudleys, the Hardys, and Edge and Christian. In my opinion, like, I like this the most. Like, TLC 2 is just a spot fest, an amazing one at that, fucking amazing. Maybe the one at SummerSlam is the best, not my favourite. It's probably the best because actually it's the most well-rounded. It's not too crazy. There is a bit more wrestling in it. Like, the tables aren't used too much. You know, like a lot of the spots in WrestleMania 17 were like stuff they'd already done before. And one of the reasons why the ladder match of WrestleMania 10 is regarded so high is because it was innovative and it was one of the first matches of its kind. The one at WrestleMania 16, the ladders match, was the first of its kind, the 3-way tag team ladder match, and it was incredible. And in my opinion, like, I like it more because they really utilize the ladders better. It's not too crazy, it's not too over the top. It's just like really well done, and like, in my opinion, the best out of those 3. And I just, overall, I like the WrestleMania a lot. It should be lower on most people's list, but me personally, it was the event that got me into wrestling, so I kind of love it. I've got a place for it in my heart.